The shattered mirror. I found myself engulfed by an unfamiliar darkness, the echoes of voices swirling around me like forgotten whispers. A sharp pang of confusion seized me as I stood amidst the shadows, trying to grasp the pieces of a puzzle that no longer fit together. I felt weightless, adrift without any sense of direction. Suddenly, a figure stepped into the haunting tableau, a vibrant woman with a cascade of chestnut hair and kind, warm eyes. She looked at me with a mix of relief and concern, as if I were a long-lost friend. Despite the familiarity etched in her features, I felt as if I was facing a complete stranger. "Isla, sweetheart, it's time to wake up," she urged, the urgency in her voice sharp and clear. Isla. The name echoed in my mind yet felt foreign. I hesitated, blinking slowly, unsure of my surroundings or even who I was. "Are you all right?" Her voice softened, transforming from an anxious plea to a soothing embrace. "You've been through so much." I recoiled instinctively, overwhelmed by the strange connection I felt, yet unable to decipher its origin. "Who are you?" The question tumbled from my lips, propelled by fear and uncertainty. A shadow crossed her face, and I could see the hurt in her eyes as if the very essence of our relationship was hanging by a thread. "Isla, it's me, your mother." The word pierced through me, yet I felt no recognition, just a deep void where memories of her should have been. I stood up abruptly, my heart racing, a torrent of emotion flooding my senses. "No. I don't know you. I need to get out of here." "Please," she pleaded, trying to bridge the gap between us. "We can talk about this. Just sit down." Her attempt to touch me burned like ice. I flinched away, too frightened to accept the reality she presented. Without a second thought, I bolted from the room, the unfamiliar space morphing into a maze of chaos. The hallway stretched out like an endless tunnel, bright lights flooding my vision as I ran. To my right, the walls showcased photographs of strangers who filled me with an inexplicable sense of nostalgia. Each face whispered secrets I could not decipher. A room exploded with laughter to my left, children playing, their delighted shrieks echoing through the air. It was maddening. I burst into a grand living room, the vibrant colors blurring together as I glanced around, desperate to find some semblance of recognition. It felt like a stage for a play I had never auditioned for. A glance out the window revealed a picturesque scene of a neighborhood that felt utterly alien. As I darted through the space, I heard her footsteps behind me, the urgency in her calls ringing like distant bells. "Isla. Come back." I continued to run, propelled by instinct, heart pounding as I navigated the twists and turns of an unknown reality. I raced towards an open front door that beckoned like a portal to freedom. Outside, the air was crisp, yet charged with uncertainty. I sprinted down the street, the sound of my heartbeat drumming in my ears. My body screamed for respite, but my mind raced, casting wild glances over my shoulder, half expecting her to somehow catch up. It was only when I reached a fork in the road that I paused. The weight of exhaustion bore down on me, breathing heavily as I evaluated the paths ahead. It was then that a shrill sound cut through the air, a noise sharp and electric that made my skin prickle. Suddenly the world blurred again. The darkness washed over me, consuming all thought. I closed my eyes, gripped tight by an unseen force, tossed through memories that weren't mine. Fragmented images burst into my mind. A peaceful living room, filled with soft laughter and the scent of freshly baked cookies. A woman with wild hair, a soft smile illuminating her face, holding a bouquet of wildflowers close to her heart. I recognized her. She was a beacon of warmth in the abyss. "Isla, come join us," her voice rang out, and I could see small figures, children playing before me. My heart surged as certainty washed over me, yet it was quickly eclipsed by a fiery blaze that engulfed the scene. Flames licked at the edges, consuming everything joyous, leaving nothing but ash and despair. I gasped for air, feeling the remnants of warmth evaporate, replaced by the heavy weight of dread. My vision darkened again, leaving me disoriented, suspended in the memories of a past I couldn't hold on to. When I woke again, I found myself strapped to a chair in a nebulous room. Panic surged within me, but the beeping machines and dim lighting dulled my senses. At that moment, two faces loomed over me, familiar yet faint. My heart sank as realization blossomed. They looked so hopeful, yet sorrowful. Isla, we're here, the woman stammered through tears, a familiarity that struck deep into my heart, even as the details of our connection evaded me. You must remember us. Please, Dr. Bricardi, help her remember. I can't lose her again. The words spilled from the other woman's lips, raw and desperate. A tremor ran through me, and I could only look away, unable to bear the weight of their expectations. I can't remember anything, I murmured as despair rippled through the room. As the doctor initiated a series of tests, I could feel the remnants of who I was slipping further away. This time, as he asked for fragments from my past, I grasped at memories as one would grasp at water, slipping through my fingers again and again. In a desperate attempt to retrieve my identity, flashes of my life danced before me but remained elusive, like smoke in the wind. I couldn't convince myself that those blissful moments belonged to me. They felt like someone else's life, a shattered mirror reflecting a face I could almost recognize. With each failed attempt to unlock my memories, I sunk deeper into despair, longing for a truth hidden just beyond my reach. My existence had become a tapestry of broken fragments and whispered names. And as I looked into the mirror of my own soul, I realized I was a stranger in my own story, searching for a way back to the person I once knew, to reclaim what had been lost amidst the flames. As the doctor adjusted the controls on the monitor, I felt the electric hum of the machine merging with my own heartbeat, a reminder that I was still alive. But my sense of self was fraying, unraveling like an old threadbare tapestry. I stared into the faces of the two women, their expressions a mosaic of hope and heartache, but they felt like distant echoes in a foggy dream. Isla, you have to trust us, the doctor urged gently, sensing my growing disorientation. We're going to run another test. Just focus on my voice. Remember that you are safe here. With uncertain breaths, I nodded, clutching the cold edges of the chair beneath me. The room seemed to pulse with energy, the stark white walls closing in as if the very environment was pressing down upon me. I could feel the warmth of the two women's concern radiating toward me, providing a strange comfort amid the chaos. Now, I need you to close your eyes, Dr. Bricardi instructed, his voice smooth and steady. Take a deep breath. Imagine a place where you feel safe. A place that brings you joy. I hesitated but did as he commanded, digging deep within my mind. The darkness fell over me once again, but this time I did not resist. Instead, I surrendered to it, allowing my thoughts to drift. A memory began to form, flickering like a candle in the vast abyss. I was a child again, running through a sun-drenched park. Green trees arched overhead, their leaves dancing in the warm breeze. Laughter echoed as I played tag with two girls, their joyous squeals becoming a chorus that filled my heart with exhilarating delight. Suddenly, the scene shifted. I saw myself at a birthday party, balloons bobbing against a bright blue sky, a cake adorned with candles sparkling in front of me. My mother stood by me, her auburn curls catching the sunlight like golden strands. Make a wish, Isla, she urged, her voice encouraging and melodic. As I huffed and puffed, eyes squeezed shut, I felt an overwhelming sense of love and joy bubble within me. But just as quickly as that warmth enveloped me, the kaleidoscope of memories fractured. The fiery landscape erupted, transforming laughter into screams and balloons into ash. I fell backward, the perfect moment imploding like a dying star. No! I cried out, shaking my head vehemently as my hands grabbed at the straps holding me down. Isla! Stay with us. The doctor's voice broke through the disorienting din, grounding me once more. I forced my eyes open, panting heavily. What's happening? I gasped, panic retaking hold. It's all right, the doctor assured. The memories are coming back, but they're tangled with trauma. You just need to breathe. Let's try again. I gritted my teeth, willing myself to relax as I refocused on his voice. Remember that safe place. Picture it clearly in your mind. What do you see? Again, I closed my eyes and sought the refuge of my memory. I envisioned a serene lakeside at sunset, water shimmering like glass, reflecting the oranges and purples of a fading day. I felt the soft grass beneath my feet, smelled the sweet scent of blooming flowers wafting in the gentle breeze. It was tranquil, safe. Then she appeared. A woman with wild auburn curls, freckled cheeks, and that radiant smile. She stood beside the lake, arms wide open, beckoning me closer. Come here, Isla. She laughed, the sound melodic and pure. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mom? I whispered, my heart racing. As if sensing my hesitation, she stepped forward, eyes filled with a hopeful warmth. Yes, sweetheart, it's me. I've been waiting for you. Tears streamed down my face as I stepped into her embrace. It felt so real, that comfort surrounding me, tethering me to my identity. Every moment I had ever cherished with her flooded back, the bedtime stories, the silly dances in the living room, the gentle caresses on quiet nights when all was still. But just when it felt like I was home again, the flames began to swirl around the edges of my mind, threatening to engulf my sanctuary. No. I gasped, pulling away. Isla, listen to me, she urged, her voice steady through the chaos. You have to confront what happened. You have to remember it all, the good and the bad. You can't hide from the flames. As I stood there grappling with fear, fragmented images surged forward. The shouting. The smoke. The frantic attempts to save what was lost. I remembered a day that had begun as normal, the laughter, the joy of being together, until everything collapsed in on itself. Panic erupted within me as the horrific flames surrounded us. Mom, please. I can't. I don't want to remember. Isla, you're stronger than the fire, she encouraged, her voice softer now but unwavering. You survived. You can face it again. I believe in you. Suddenly, I felt a surge of bravery, sparked by her unwavering faith in me. I can do this, I whispered aloud, and the world around me began to illuminate. I saw the fire, the pain, but I also saw the love prevailing, shimmering through the darkness that threatened to smother it. The flames transformed, wrapping around me like a cocoon, not as oppressive heat but as a reminder of resilience. I took a deep breath, feeling my mother closer, her presence an anchor. With renewed determination, I opened my eyes, returning to the sterile room where the doctor and the two women awaited my recollection with bated breath. I remember, I stated, conviction returning to my voice. I remember everything. Tears welled in their eyes, relief cascading across their faces. Dr. Brichardi scribbled feverishly in his notebook, his expression a mix of admiration and concern. What do you recall, Isla? Promise me I won't forget again. I need to confront it all, I said, feeling a mix of the past and present swirling together. I lost them, but I need to honor them and find my way back. My mother's visage remained etched in my heart, her strength a guiding light even amid the tumult. The journey ahead would not be easy. Memories are not just shadows to chase, they require facing the fears they hold. But armed with their love and the truth of who I was, I would reclaim my narrative, one memory at a time. As I focused on the faces of the women in the room, I realized that their determination pulsed through my heart as well. We would thread together the past, the present, and the future, binding us into a tapestry far more resilient than I once believed possible. Together, we would rise from the ashes, repainted in hues of strength, courage, and love. The air in the room felt alive as Dr. Brichardi observed me closely, his expression a blend of hope and anxiety. Let's do this together, Isla, he encouraged softly. You've already faced so much. Now we need to decode your memories, and we'll do it step by step. I drew in a deep breath, feeling as if the pieces of my life finally had a chance to align. I remember my family, I began, my heart racing. The laughter, the games, and the fire. The word cracked like a thunderclap in the silence. I closed my eyes, visions cascading back to me, refusing to be buried any longer. I was playing in the living room, I recounted, the memories flowing through me like a floodgate bursting open. I can see my siblings, they were playing, and Mom was there. We were having a great time, and then, there was shouting. I remember the smoke creeping in, the heat, and then a soft hand clasped mine, bringing me back to the moment. I opened my eyes to find the auburn-haired woman staring at me, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Keep going, sweetheart. You're doing so well," she encouraged, her voice imbued with love. "They tried to get us out," I continued, a tremor in my voice. "Mom," she yelled for us to run. I can see her face, she was so brave. But we got separated in the chaos. The image of her panic flooded my mind, her shouts echoing, increasing in urgency. I was scared. I lost them in the smoke. Then, all I could feel was the heat and the darkness. I gasped, the weight of the revelation pressing down on me like the air thickening in the room. They didn't make it out. The room was silent, the gravity of my realization hanging heavily in the air. My mother, my siblings, they hadn't escaped. I had fled, but they had faced the flames head-on. The sharp stab of loss pierced my heart, but it gave way to an unexpected warmth, a sense of their enduring presence in my life. "Yes," Dr. Bricardi acknowledged gently. "But you survived, Isla. You're here now, and their love is a part of you. You're still connected to them." I took a moment, absorbing those words. The love they had instilled in me was powerful, it didn't disappear with their tragic end. "I worked so hard to forget," I admitted, swallowing the lump in my throat. Running from the memories, thinking that it would make the pain easier. But now, I see that it only led to losing pieces of myself. "You're reclaiming those pieces now," he affirmed, his eyes gleaming with pride. "You faced the hardest part, you remembered." "I want to honor them," I spoke, my voice steadying. "I want to remember their smiles, their laughter, everything that made them real." "I know how hard this is," the auburn-haired woman said, squeezing my hand tighter. "We are here to support you, every step of the way." I looked at both women, feeling the threads of connection weaving together in the tapestry of my existence. They were my anchors, drawing strength from their presence. "Will you help me?" I asked, looking back and forth between them. "Help me remember the good things?" "Of course," she promised, and the other woman nodded in agreement. With renewed focus, I launched into more memories, the sound of my siblings' laughter during family games, the warmth of summer days spent at the park with my mother, her hand threading through my hair as she calmed my fears at night. Each recollection illuminated another forgotten piece, illuminating the darkness I had courageously fled. But with the joyful memories came the memory of the fire, seeing the roaring flames, the crackling embers, the chaos of sirens that finally arrived. Yet, through it all, I felt an overwhelming sense of determination. I would not allow those memories to define me or paralyze me with fear any longer. I was filled with resilience, the same strength that had carried my mother, the love that had shaped my family. Hours passed in that sterile room, the sun beginning to dip below the horizon outside. It felt like a rebirth as I spoke about my past, sharing my joys and sorrows alike. Little by little, I reclaimed the life that had been stolen from me, not just through loss, but through fear. Eventually, when the memories settled, the atmosphere shifted. I could feel the weight of the room lighten, each of us basking in the newfound clarity that came from acknowledging both the light and the dark. Dr. Bricardi checked his notes one last time. "That was incredible, Isla. You faced significant trauma today and navigated it with remarkable strength. You're going to be okay." Tears streamed down my cheeks, but they were not solely tears of sorrow. They were freeing. "Thank you," I whispered, turning to the women who had stood beside me through the shadows. "Thank you for not giving up on me." The auburn-haired woman leaned in, wrapping her arms around me in a warm embrace, the scent of home washing over me. I returned the hug fervently, feeling pieces of my heart stitching back together, the barriers I had built starting to crumble. "We're always with you, Isla," she murmured softly. As I embraced her warmth, I felt whole for the first time in what felt like ages. I realized now that while memories might fade, they ultimately shape who we are. In the aftermath of our losses, we carry the love that once bound us, forging a pathway to healing and hope. With newfound resolve, I resolved to move forward. I was more than just a survivor, I was a tapestry of love and memories, woven with strength and resilience. I would share my story, cherish the memories, and honor my loved ones, ensuring their dreams and laughter lived on in my heart. Though the path to recovery would take time, I understood that I was not alone. Together, we would step through the shadows into a future painted with light, love, and a remembrance that would echo through all the chapters of my life yet to come. The flames might have danced around me, but I would rise from them, reborn, renewed, and ready to embrace the journey ahead. With that promise in my heart, I stepped into the daylight of a new beginning, ever grateful for the fragments of my past that had shaped me and the future waiting on the horizon.